I would be surprised if Kamala Harris won because the Democratic Party ran probably the worst campaign we ever seen in our lifetime. They decided to invite Liz Cheney, the warmonger, to Michigan. They had Bill Clinton give a speech to Arab Americans lecturing them on why they have the right to kill their family members. The Democratic Party wanted to see how far they can drag the Bernie Sanders left and the progressive left to the right. And they knew it was a possibility that they could lose, but they would rather do that than give up their support for Israel. I'm very skeptical of Donald Trump's willingness to rein in the U.S. empire and the Zionist regime. And Donald Trump is a staunch supporter of the United States sanctions. He aggressively used sanctions and bragged about sanctions as a way to destabilize Venezuela and other countries they disagree with. So I think Trump will be more of the same. There are a lot of misguided progressives like Bernie Sanders, AOC, and many of the social democrats who believe that the best way to fight against right-wing fascism is to join Democrat, socially liberal, but economic and foreign policy fascism from the Democratic Party. But we're going to see the same thing we have seen at least my entire life, where the Democratic Party makes a concerted decision to run to the right, to run as Ronald Reagan Republicans. Because if they ever concede that they lost because they was campaigning with neocons like Liz Cheney, and they were supporting trickle-down economics by rejecting common sense policies, in my opinion, like single-payer health care, increased minimum wage, which won in Missouri. Instead of embracing those ideas, they have to pretend that it's because of the left that have become too quote-unquote woke. I've already seen MSNBC, Morning Joe, and quite a few other liberal pundits saying that the reason why they lost this election is because Kamala Harris was too far to the left. And now this completely ignore all reality. What's poppin', my friends? My family, we are back. We are back. Welcome to RBN. It has been a long week, streaming out every day on RBN, doing multiple interviews every day because the week of the election. Big shout out to Redstream for having me on. But it was worth it. I'm very tired, but it has been very worth it because I could not have possibly imagined, my friends. There is no way I could have possibly prepared my body and mentally prepared myself for how absolutely glorious this meltdown has been. From the genocide-denying, genocide-enabling shit-libs. And I'm greatly enjoying this because we are witnessing the liberals expose themselves. We are witnessing the liberals expose how they are nihilistic to their core. You have members of the Leftist Mafia rage quitting, all these progressives giving up. So when Donald Trump won, the reaction of RB and my reaction was like, it's time to go after Maga. It's time to organize even harder. We hitting the ground even harder next year, and we are going after Maga. I've been roasting these motherfuckers. We got a segment today exposing Trump's deep state war cabinet. So in the face of fighting Maga, my reaction was, liberals, get out of the way. Let's get started. I believe in the potential of the working class. I'm not going to say my brothers and sisters are racist and ignorant and we should give up. That is the toxic nihilism that you get from liberalism. Liberalism, and I think there's something that needs to be discussed. When you look at MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post propaganda, everyone talk about how the far right propaganda is infesting the minds of young men, and people talk about the effects of right-wing propaganda on older boomers. So people always analyze the effects
far-right propaganda. But what do you guys think is the long-term consequences of digesting MSNBC every day for years? What do you guys think is the consequence of ingesting TYT every day for years? When they tell you the country is ruined, we're screwed if Trump comes. If Trump comes, the fascists are coming. There's nothing we can do. We're powerless. We have to support genocide. We have to support genocide because that's how powerless we are. That is the position of the leftist mafia, the position of the Bernie Sanders progressive, the position of the DSA, the position of climate defiance, the position of the entirety of the progressive apparatus is that we have to fall in line behind capitalist, sellout politicians or we are screwed. Now you guys see why I started my own channel? Now do you guys see why I disavow those people? These liberals distill nihilism on the working class. Let me show you guys this.
I'm sorry. No. Why? Why? Do you really hate me that bad? I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those days where we kind of laugh at liberal meltdown videos. Can we talk about how CNN and MSNBC created a mental health crisis? So they convinced liberals that women have no rights now, that Trump is going to line them up in camps, and they taught them that under the threat of fascism, you don't resist, you fall in line. You guys see the panic that's coming from the liberal class? You guys see the mental breakdown that liberalism leads to? And we're gonna get to the leftist mafia because look, this is liberalism. You have women promising they're never gonna have sex again. You have women cutting their long, beautiful hair. Look at this. Look at this. Mental illness. A finger 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. I'm gonna turn the music down. You guys know, hopefully I don't get me fucking demonetized. Damn it. Make sure you guys support our Patreon. I think I might get demonetized now. There's this trend of liberal women cutting their hair. They cutting their hair so they can identify other white women who are allies. They are also trying to make a trend where white women wear pink friendship bracelets so they can know what other white women are down for the cause. Guys, I can do a 2-hour stream going through all this stuff, but I know you guys probably don't want to see it for 2 hours. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I can't do it all day. But here's my tweet. There needs to be a serious conversation about MSNBC, CNN, Washington Post, and the New York Times, who created a whole ass mental health crisis. Do you guys understand? And I don't feel bad for these people. If you want to start feeling bad for these people, this woman here, let me go back to the other woman. Let's watch this 15-second meltdown again.
I'm sorry. No. Why?
You wanna know why I don't feel bad for these people? Because they wasn't having these meltdowns, witnessing children burning alive. Because I'm not beyond meltdowns. I'm meltdown live all the time. That same meltdown you saw from that liberal black woman is the meltdown you see me go through every single time when I see children burning alive. So we have our government where we are burning children alive with our taxpayer money, and you're not crying. You're not reacting about that. You're mad because your favorite genocidal girl boss didn't achieve ultimate power? Are you guys fucking serious?
How am I supposed to go to work and do all of my normal daily activities?
How can I possibly go to work now that my genocidal girl boss is not achieving ultimate power? So this white woman here, was 100% okay with going to work, and she was extremely productive when she saw children burned alive, children with sniper bullets in their head, and these people They're witnessing a genocide, and there's reporting where there's so much death and destruction, the stench of dead bodies infest the air in Gaza. You have women in Gaza that are having C-sections without anesthesia. But you're crying because Kamala lost? And we're supposed to feel bad for these psychopaths. Can we have a conversation about how the average liberal is a complete fucking psychopath? They don't care about anything that happens in the world until it infects them. You want people to support a whole ass genocide just so you can get an abortion. How are these people not the most disgusting people in the world? You crying over this. You crying over this, and you guys think I'm not going to laugh at you motherfuckers for years. Are you serious?
All of my normal daily.
I'm not going to spend too much time. You guys see, the whole point, she was like, how am I supposed to go to work? And thank God for our brothers and sisters at Hotspot, because they've been, you guys know I love my brothers and sisters at Hotspot. They've been literally documenting. You guys see my family at Hotspot? You guys see why I love working with Hotspot now? Hotspot is literally grabbing a collection of psychopaths. Because for one, when I go through emotional distress and when I'm crying, you want to know the last thing I do? The last thing I do when I'm going through emotional distress is I grab a camera and record myself. And I'm sorry, I may be an asshole, but I think if you grab a camera and you start recording yourself crying, you pause, you start crying. Hold on. You are a psychopath. I'm sorry. Imagine that. You having a legitimate mental breakdown and you pause. You pause your mental breakdown, pull out your phone, log in your camera, make sure your angles are right. And I'm supposed to feel bad for these people? You understand there's an entire mental health crisis where people do this shit and they think it's fucking normal? It is not normal. And I'm going to laugh at you motherfuckers forever. Hey, that's my mama. Hey, mama. Hey, my mama live right now. I'll call you later. Woo. I could, if I had time, we could watch every single one of these fucking genocidal cryberries babies who are melting down.
To be the person that gets on here and
because the person who was committing genocide didn't win. Do you guys understand how psychotic these people are? Absolute. We don't have time. Look, our brothers and sisters at Hotspot. Look at all these. Look at all these fucking mental. Actually, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Let me apologize. I got cited. I'm not trying to demean mental illnesses. You know that, right? You know that. I'm not trying to do that. I apologize ahead of time. But this is, you guys know what I mean. These people are literally psychotic. I gotta mute all these because I don't want to get demonetized. Look at these people. This shit is glorious. And if you think liberals are the only one going through this, like, here we go. We got a screamer. We got a screamer on us. And we got another one. If you're not following Hotspot, fam, you guys are missing out, by the way. If you're not following Hotspot, what are you doing? Look, we got another screamer. I used to think conservatives were being assholes when they said liberalism was a mental illness. Here's another one.
All right.
By the way,
I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see what happens. Is this cutting off hair? I'm gonna have to cut it shorter than that. Buzz it down, right?
These people are cutting their hair.
Let's see here. Maybe I gotta cut it. Here we go.
You guys know I wasn't cherry picking. I didn't just pick one video. This is literally a whole ass trend.
Coloring my hair. Fuck having my hair be long and luxurious.
They're not cutting their hair in protest of Palestinian children being slaughtered, my friends. She is cutting her hair because the person who committing genocide will not have power. I cannot describe the level of hatred I have for these people. Now let's get to the main event because I have a guest joining me at the top of the hour. Look, it's endless, bro. Look at our friends. If you're not following Hotspot, what are you doing? Look, it's literally endless. The amount of these meltdown videos. They're ending. Oh, Jesus Christ. Kamala voters are now ending their marriages. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can spend here all day. I'll be here all day, fam. Laughing at these psychopaths. Once again, I don't feel bad for them because we see what their priorities are. They cry for the genocide, a genocider, not the people who are victims of the genocide. And not only liberals, you have progressives engaging in the same nihilism, and they are giving up. They are quitting. So they think a fascist is taking power, and the response of the leftist mafia, seeing a fascist take charge is to give up. Oh, you're your own. Fuck it. I thought you guys said this man's a fascist. You guys about to give up? You guys see how liberalism enables fascism and how they will always bow down to fascists? I have no desire to discuss this or really any news or politics anymore. I'm looking for work. So this man had a great time talking about news when he's talking about the struggle of black and brown people, genocides. But the second that Trump wins, these people want to quit. You guys see why social democrats and these liberals are not reliable? They are broken people. They are completely broken people. And this is what happens when you don't read theory, my friends. And this is based on what Q was saying. I'll put a tweet up again because I don't want to give any illusion that it's like my individual thought. But it has something else. This is why I shared many times. The nihilism of the liberal class. How communists are the revolutionary optimists. This is what we've been telling you guys. They are anti-communists. And this is what Q explains. One reason I adopted communism is that self-criticism and material analysis are baked into it. When communists fail, the answer is never, the people are too stupid for their own good. It's, I haven't done enough good for the people. And now you guys want to see Olayemi, someone who was part of the leftist mafia, who called us part. She said, she accused us. The leftist mafia accused us of being right-wing, Jimmy Dore, Jason. This is what they say about us. As they supported genocide. As they voted for genocide. As they are now condemning the working class they claim they represent. That they fight for. So this is one of the most unhinged meltdown images I can share with you guys I've seen. Because a lot of these progressives are bleeding subscribers. Because people are realizing they've been misled. Here's Olayemi. I will not be lending my voice to any cause or tragedy that come as a result of the Americans handing Donald Trump the presidency, the courts, the House, and the Senate. According to y'all, fascism was already here, and it's all the same. Please remember that and keep that energy when shit gets crazy for you. I feel so vindicated right now, friends. If you're in the RBN community, you should feel vindicated because all these progressive scum that we've been calling out are completely exposing themselves. And they are exposed by the people who doubted us. Even the people who doubted us, like, oh my God, I can't believe RBN was right about Olayemi. Because Olayemi, like, I'm rich, and we go into fascism, you're on your own. Look at this. So if you thought the first part of that message was bad, look at this. I see a lot of the working class, underprivileged, already marginalized niggas. She called us niggas. Already marginalized niggas thinking they're dunking on me. These niggas on the left. You know, they talking about us. These niggas in the RBN community is dunking on her, guys. You guys know that she has no credibility on the left because of us and because of our community. She has been completely bullied off of Black Twitter because she was the most obvious sellout we have ever seen. So after being bullied off of Black Twitter and being bullied by the entirety of the Black left, who she had to block, she blocked the entirety of the Black left, and she's so mad she out here calling us niggas. These damn niggas, man, hold me accountable for voting genocide. Why these niggas got mad? Because I want to vote genocide, nigga. I want to vote for genocide, nigga. That's Olayemi. These fucking marginalized niggas trying to tell me. This is the person on the Leftist Mafia. Those white boys love her. The white boys love the self-hatred she had for the Black left. Why do you think the white boys have her on their show and they blocked us? They love this. They love this the hatred that she has for the working class. And let me continue because it gets crazier. It gets worse. I've seen a lot of working class, underprivileged, marginalized niggas thinking they're dunking on me and other progressives and immigrants. I've literally received thousands of comments and messages from people who think the joke is on me. The joke is on you because you sold your soul and supported a cop when you pretend to be abolitionist. You was abolitionist and you supported the cop. You supported the genocide and your ass still end up with Trump because you didn't realize how out of touch you was with the working class. So the joke is absolutely on you, Olayemi. You gotta see, she's not handling well the fact that she's getting roasted by the Black left, so we niggas now. Do distance. She probably think do distance from niggas now, too. See, look, this is where it gets extremely classist, and it gets extremely dark extremely quickly. Here's Olayemi. You guys think the joke is on me, but I'm here to remind y'all. I'm here to tell y'all pores. I'm an attorney with a successful career. I'm successful, guys. Listen to me. I am a PMC, guys. I am PMC. I am an attorney. Why don't you guys listen to me? And she's here to remind you niggas. She's here to remind you niggas right now that she has a successful career and she's going to be all right. Olayemi is going to... And guys, I am asking you guys to clip this. By the way, because we can't allow these people get away with this batshit insanity, class war, classism. I'm an attorney with a successful career. I'm gonna be all right. 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 If she says, you guys are gonna be the one who truly suffers. Look how she's fantasizing about the suffering of the working class because she received mean tweets. That's all it took. Zoya, this is what we've been witnessing our entire time as RBN. They will throw out all solidarity because of a mean tweet. So the message of Olayemi is that I'm a successful attorney. Y'all motherfuckers gonna suffer. Dumbasses voted for your own oppression, thinking you're dunking on progressives, far more educated and privileged. Fatally stupid. She thinks she's more educated than us. Hey, guys. This PMC elite academic scum thinks she is more educated than me. These PMC class scums, I told you guys, we need to start revoking these people. As a working class movement, I think I have. I revoked a few doctorates. Shit. As a working class, can we start revoking doctorates? Can we stop respecting these people's fucking titles? If you're not a working class theorist, if you ain't read any theory, if you don't bring anything to the working class, you are useless. You think you better than the working class Olayemi because you got a degree, motherfucker? And that's the true classism of these people, guys. I'm rich and successful. Go fuck yourself. I have no desire to talk about politics. I'm done. What did we tell you guys from day one? Don't trust these motherfuckers. I have no idea to this day why anyone on the left, anyone who is part of the working class, will get their news from people who are not part of the working class. People from the bourgeoisie. She's not share your class interests. It's time for us to start revoking doctorate degrees, master degrees, and get rid of these POC scums. Oh man, I still got some time left, man. I hope my guest is a little bit late today. Jesus Christ. All right, what's next? I went on a fucking rant, didn't I? Oh, I gotta show you guys David Pakman because these people are bleeding subscribers. And that's the real reason they're crying. So I want to make sure I show you guys David Pakman before I have to move on. But here's Emma Vigeland, who starts crying because she is so propagandizing. Like I said, she's the dumbest person in political commentary. She really think that women might be lined up in camps, the rights are done. God, hey, dipshit. Missouri voted for a referendum that legalized abortion. Dipshits. You guys understand that the majority of states that have abortion, I think all of them, I think Florida is the only one, they all, including my red state living ass, we voted to legalize abortion. These people are so propagandized, they can't even think straight. They think women have no rights anymore. It's literally crazy. And she's here crying because her favorite genocidal girl boss lost.
One thing I'll just get a little emotional about is it does, as a woman, feel pretty shitty. I feel like the humanity of women and their rights, no one cares. And even in the face of Trump and everything that he represented, that's a tough pill to swallow.
You know what a tough pill swallow? A tough pill swallow is people like Emma Vigeland, who covers the genocide, covers and cries for the genocide. And then she, after covering the genocide for every day, after seeing the same shit we seen, she can't plead ignorance. She's seen the children burning alive. She know about the starvation, the mass sexual assaults. We know because majority report, just like many other fake progressives, they actually cover Israel. But do you guys realize that makes them the most psychotic people in politics? So you saw the burning babies. You saw you saw Biden and his administration, Kamala, who didn't even lie to you. They didn't even lie to you and said it was going to end the genocide. So after you saw the genocide, your response was to vote for the genocide, the same genocide where women are forced to have C-sections without anesthesia. But now you're crying because that person didn't receive ultimate power. You guys understand how much of a psychopath you have to be to cover genocide and then be this sad that the genocide there didn't win? And to be honest, maybe I'm giving these people too much of a benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's simply just math and economics. Because here at David Pakman, because these people are going through some things. I told you guys RB, and we're gonna be very vindicated, and we're gonna be doing a lot of told you so's. We told people about the Democratic Party. We told people they're not gonna win. We told people and warned people about the Democratic Party. Now you have Progressive BreadTube, who they threw out their entire credibility supporting genocide. And then they told people that Kamala was going to win. And now their subscribers are fleeing en masse because they lost the support and the trust of the viewer base. So we watch just a little bit of this.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that. And subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen. And I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler. All of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
Oh my God, boy. I couldn't, this is what I said in the beginning of the show. I couldn't even begin to mentally prepare for how glorious this week was going to be. We have Kamala lose and being punished for genocide. We have Israelis getting their ass beat in Amsterdam. We have mass riots after Benjamin Netanyahu fired his defense minister. And now we have Progressive BreadTube that is now dying because they are facing a reckoning with their subscribers because they realize they've been lied to and misled. And if I was Sam Cedar, then I'd be pissed. I'm like, bro, why you expose my shit? So these people are bleeding subscribers. Here, look at this. Oh, shit. And this is why. These liberal YouTubers that is bleeding subscribers, like Sam Cedar. He said Sam Cedar. Because Sam Cedar had Dum Dum on her show. He had Dum Dum on the show, Emma Vigeland. So he has Emma Vigeland on his show. Sam Cedar and all these people was telling their audience that Kamala Harris was going to win by a landslide. The Vanguard was sending out tweets and doing videos talking about how Kamala is going to win by a landslide, and now their subscribers looking at them and like, holy fuck, you guys have misled us every step of the way. Emma Vigeland and the Vanguard are the same people who told you to support John Fetterman. And John Fetterman turned out to be the worst neocon in Washington, and then the Vanguard and Sam Cedar had to come out. Oops, sorry, man, we got that one wrong. My bad, fuck it. They told you Marianne Williamson was going to go on a dirty break. It didn't happen. And they told you that, oh, we're going to support third party. They was lying. Can you imagine being a worker? Can you imagine being someone who was following Vanguard and Kyle Kulinski throughout the entirety of the last 4 years? Can you imagine how misled you will be? Thank God we've been here. And this is why the professional managerial class hates us, fam. They hate us because we was right. Every step of the way. Every step of the way. We was right about these PMC, fake progressive, genocide enabling scum. And they hate us for it. We've been blacklisted for it. They can't stand our guts because we told you people who exactly what they was. And now their audience is realizing it. And like this comment says here, you will never see us hammer subscribers. In fact, it's always a steady climb. And this is a channel, and we confirm shadow ban. We're shadow banned, but you will never see us lose subscribers. It never happened. Ever happened. Because we tell you guys the truth, whether it's hard to hear or not. We study history. We study theory. We are not just going off of vibes. We rejected liberalism. And we studied the theory of revolution. That's why Sabby Sabs is destroying these people. This is not my natural mode. You guys see, I'm more of a speech giver. You guys saw that in Chicago. Sabby Sabs is running laps around these motherfuckers. Due Dissidence is running laps around these motherfuckers because we've been telling our audience the truth from day one. And now they bleeding subscribers. We got Derrick Broze in the house. Hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm gonna be introducing him very soon. I think I'm almost done with this segment. So they bleed subscribers, and this is the real reason why they are quitting. Because they realize they have completely lost all of their credibility. So anyway, I think I can wrap the segment up there. That was fucking fun, wasn't it? Holy shit, man. This is gonna be I told you guys I'm taking about 100 days. Actually, I already kind of started going ham on these people. These MAGA frauds. We're gonna talk about this here soon. Because now that these progressive leftist, fake progressive scum have been completely exposed. Now that the Democratic Party is dead. Now that no one believes this bullshit, the DSA is bankrupt. We finally got these motherfucking useless scum out of our way. So now we can actually focus on Maga. We can finally actually wage a real fight now that these useless scumbags are out of our way. And as these people are giving up, and as these people are quitting politics and having a meltdown, the message of RBN is let's get to work. Hope you guys enjoyed that fucking segment, bro. That was fun. Let's introduce our guest. We have a great independent journalist who joined us today, great geopolitical analyst. Thank you for joining for the first time on RBN, first time I'm meeting you. Zoya highly recommended you. We may not agree on anything, but I think it'd be a great conversation. Welcome to RBN, Derrick. Am I getting that right? Broze?
It's Broze.
Broze. Okay, I apologize for that. Welcome to RBN, Derrick Broze. I appreciate you joining us today. There's a lot going on, and just to get started, to get a nice warm up, a nice introduction, I want to get your thoughts on the election as I prepare this next segment. Obviously, this is what a lot of people are talking about. I want to get your initial response to the election in the United States. I see just another example of the Zionists winning. I see it as another example of the imperialists winning. But it is great to meet you. I would love to hear your perspective. What are your thoughts, Derrick?
Oh, I thought this was the beginning of a brand new chapter in America and everything was great. I thought we all won. Isn't that what I'm being told by a lot of people on Twitter and elsewhere? No, I'm right there with you.
Luckily, you won't be told that here. There are a lot of frauds that say that, but luckily, you won't be told that here. But go ahead, Derrick.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely a lot of people out there trying to play that whole card that this is the beginning of some new era. And the sad thing for me is, and I'm sure you guys are seeing it as well. This is like people who I know who are, I would say, former libertarians, people who claim to be conservative, people who are even, former progressives, Democrats, all across the board who are just tripping over themselves to be on the Trump camp. And I think it's sad. It's really sad. And you made the great point there as far as Zionists. I mean, I was just hounding people before last week. I'm actually kind of just exhausted with trying to reach people. And some people still have a brain out there and they could see what was going on. They could see they're being fooled. We're seeing it come true today as, Trump is already appointing big pharma people and people who want to go to war with Iran and things of that sort. So It didn't take long for the, the honeymoon to wear off. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we could look at Miriam Adelson, wife of former, now deceased Sheldon Adelson. They gave $100 million to Trump. They're hardcore Zionists who were right there in the front row when Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. I mean, we could go on and on. But to me, this isn't anything necessarily new. Sure, there might be a couple of things that potentially might happen that I, that I care about or other people out there care about. But, I've really been wrestling with this thought actually, and maybe I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, that it seems like there are so many people, I'd say working class people, radical activists, conspiracy truthers, libertarians, whatever you want to broadly say, who seem willing to accept what I would call scraps from the table, right? They'll say like, okay, but they're going to do this one good thing. And sure, we could look at that and objectively say whatever that might be. They did something good here, but at the same time, does that mean we're going to turn a blind eye to the Zionism, to the already, ratcheting up for calls with war to Iran? For me, that's not good enough. So I had somebody tell me the other day, well, Derrick, I hope you're going to be objective and give him a pat on the back talking about Trump if he does something good. And in my mind, like, these people don't deserve a pat on the back. They don't deserve any credit as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to give them, a pat just for doing something potentially good. Sure, that's good that happened, but I hope people are also just as adamant as pointing out all the negative things that we know are coming and that we're already seeing.
I'm very glad to see your consistency that you wanted to call out Maga for the Zionist bullshit, because I don't know. I don't want to assume actually. Do you consider yourself a libertarian? Because I've been. I don't want to assume because we're just talking first time. Because I've been calling out. I think there's a lot of bullshit among libertarians. I'm a Marxist. There's a lot of these libertarians who they pretend to support these beliefs that sound good on paper, but then they quickly run back to the Republican Party because of the culture war. And I want to get your thoughts on this because I'm glad that you've been calling these people out too, because we're post-duopoly. Like, I confuse a lot of these people. Like, I'm not a liberal. I hate liberalism. I hate the two-party duopoly. I want the best for the working class while I want to destroy the empire. That's how I can sum up my politics in less than 2 sentences, my friends. But there's these libertarian fake MAGA grifter motherfuckers. And I just learned of this guy maybe like a few weeks ago. I never watch his streams. I've seen like clips of him. This guy named Sneeko. Do you guys know him? He's like a big influencer or whatever. He's a big MAGA guy. And I've seen clips of him randomly on Twitter. He's like one of those fake right-wing populists. There are people like Tucker Carlson and Russell Brand, who I can't stand. I view them the same way I view like Bernie Sanders and Cal Collins. They say good stuff. Tucker Carlson says good stuff, but it means nothing if you support Donald Trump, who is the exact antithesis of what you say you want to take out the empire. So what MAGA is doing right now, and do you want to chime in there? Go, feel free if you want to chime in.
Yeah, well, I'll just share a little bit of my background for your awareness. And I think this is an important conversation for multiple reasons, because like you said at the beginning, I'm sure there are some areas we could key in on that we might disagree on. But I think what's most important is those who are radicals in different ways, which I would consider myself to be, to try to unite where we can, and to, at the very least, if we're not going to be able to work on projects, at least call out the lack of principles that we see. So I started getting involved in activism in 2009, 2010. And my early work, like locally in Houston, where I'm originally from in Texas, was working with a lot of radical anarchists, like going to info shops and bookstores and hanging out there listening to talks. And there's definitely some areas where I didn't necessarily align on economics and things of that sort, but that was kind of my original foundation. And then I met a lot of people who were into the Ron Paul campaign. I never voted or supported him, directly, but I was watching like, okay, this guy's saying a lot of anti-war stuff. He's calling out things that nobody else will. So I got to know a lot of those people. And at that time, many of them did seem to be principled. They were, against Bush. They were against Obama. They were, I think, in my view, right on a lot of issues. And then I watched, and so as I got involved, I started to get invited to speak at Liberty Fest in New York City and different libertarian events where I was kind of bringing my, like, I guess you could say radical libertarian view, more like sometimes called left libertarian or market anarchist, and focusing on building parallel systems outside of the state, not involved with anything to do with the Libertarian Party. I think that's one thing for people to understand, is that in America, at least, like, let's say the American Libertarian Movement, it's completely separate from the Libertarian Party. Like most of the people I worked with had nothing to do with that party. So sometimes people hear libertarian and they think it has something to do with the party. The party's a joke. It's always been a joke. The original movement that sort of sparked the modern movement back in the 60s and the early 70s, it was a student movement, like a lot of the movements back then. And they were anarchists. They were, they considered themselves radical libertarian anarchists. They were against the war, against the draft, against taxation, in terms of, stealing it for going to an empire in Vietnam War. And then some of those people in 1971 thought it was a good idea to create a political party. But for many people, the creation of the Libertarian Party was kind of a selling out of the original principles. So I've never been involved with the LP. I've just been more involved in like the activist side of things. But sure enough, some of those people who had principles during Obama and were very much like, we got to end the Federal Reserve. We got to get to the root of the economic problems. When Trump came along, a lot of those people sold out their principles as quick as they could. And, I'm not going to say everybody, because I do have some good libertarian friends. More specifically, some of us would call ourselves voluntarists, because I think that's like trying to kind of pull away from the faux libertarianism, as it were, because like you mentioned, the populists, you have the same issue with libertarianism. You got people like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg trying to call themselves libertarian when their entire wealth is dependent on government subsidies and corporate welfare, which is the exact opposite of what libertarianism is about. So there's been this co-opting of that term as well. So I do consider myself a voluntarist, an agorist. We could talk about that if you like. That's focused on the parallel systems through counter economics. And a lot of that is broadly under the term libertarian, but it has nothing to do with what people are seeing in the mainstream that is being called libertarian. That is like a complete selling out of principles. Any person who considers themselves libertarian and they're supporting Trump have just lost their minds. And unfortunately, I can count plenty of former allies on, it's going to take more than two hands to count them, unfortunately, of how many people have sold out.
Yeah, I appreciate your clarification. I actually learned a little bit there, so I appreciate you clarifying that. I'm glad that you call out the sellouts in the libertarians, because if you was part of libertarian, there would be a little bit of fight here because they are clowns. And I see a lot of their posts sometimes. I'm like, man, it seems like they're fed like they almost exist to make other libertarians look bad as well. And I was about to pull this video up, and I'll pass it to you, because I know you probably have a lot of thoughts as well. But this video here, and I saw someone in the comments like, I never thought Nick would talk about Sneeko. I wouldn't, and it had nothing to do with him. It had nothing to do with the guy. I just saw this video and went viral, and it sums up the delusional, fake libertarian MAGA supporters, you sum up in a nutshell. So Make America Great Again had to have a ton of cognitive dissonance while having a phrase called Make America Great Again while they support a Zionist puppet. You know how much cognitive dissonance it takes for you to come to the conclusion that Donald Trump is anti-Zionist? And these idiots like Nick Fuentes, who I destroyed on Twitter, and he avoids me like a plague now. All these people avoid me like a plague because I'm like, how are you guys going to call out the Jews? That what Nick Fuentes would do. Nick Fuentes and Nico, he's like, we need to call out the Jews. Even though the number one driver of Zionism is Christian Zionism, that they won't call out because they are part of the Christian community. But sorry, I keep ranting. I'll play the video and I'll let you chime in. But this is the kind of distance where these MAGA people keep trying to separate themselves from Zionism.
The Zionists have no part of the Make America Great Again movement. You need to get out. We don't want to fund your country. We have no part of you. America first cannot happen until we get out of there. You know I'm Free Palestine. I don't support anything you do. I think you're a disgrace. This is for Trump.
Bro, Trump don't support anything you do. No, like, you are the idiot. And I saw a lot of people, and the reason I saw this because a lot of people were spreading this clip, and people was like, Sneeko destroys Rabbi Shmuley. And I was like, I got a minority take here. Because the person who's obviously getting owned and looks like a jackass, it's Nico, not Rabbi Shmuley. And that's just my opinion. Derrick, do you want to chime in before I continue?
Oh, man. I mean, I just, again, would point to the numerous examples of Trump's ties to the Zionists, including kissing Shmuley's ass over and over, and RFK, you know, and just all the apologetics. And like I said, Miriam Adelson, $100 million to put Trump in office. People like to say, oh, well, Trump's rich on his own. He doesn't need the money of these people. They're completely ignorant. And they just don't want to acknowledge what's really going on. So, you know, I guess good on that guy. I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's horrible in a lot of other ways, but good at him for calling out Rabbi Shmuley. But as you said, that even the MAGA people are completely oblivious and still to this very moment right now trying to act like Trump isn't a Zionist and isn't going to back everything that Israel wants.
Yeah, do you guys see what I'm saying here? Because my point is, in the position a lot of people had when they saw this video, because I had actually a unique minority opinion, because people were saying Rabbi Shmuley destroyed, and I guess he was. But at the end of the day, Rabbi Shmuley has the last laugh because Sneeko is wearing the hat of the guy that Rabbi Shmuley has access to. You're a fan of the guy that Rabbi Shmuley bosses around. So who's the real winner in this exchange? Think about it, guys, but I'll play it all the way through this time.
The Zionists have no part of the Make America Great Again movement. You need to get out. We don't want to fund your country. We have no part of you. America first cannot happen until we get out of there. You know I'm Free Palestine. I don't support anything you do. I think you're a disgrace. This is for Trump right now. I don't want to have this discussion. I don't need to speak to you.
I'm a disgrace?
Yeah, I think everything you stand for is a disgrace.
Oh, me? You know who I am?
Yes, of course I do. You support genocide. America first has nothing to do with Israel.
You know what?
Who do you have allegiance to? Answer my question. Answer my question. Who do you have allegiance to?
I have allegiance to that flag that you are disgracing.
Why do you come here with an Israel flag? Why do you come here with an Israel flag?
Right now,
I saw you with an Israel flag.
Of course, I love Israel. It's
Okay.
America's greatest ally.
Israel. There's a difference between Zionists and Jews.
Is Israel the Jewish state?
It's a genocidal state.
Oh,
You're the only one who has allegiance to another country. You should f*** up Israel.
Once again, I can have two thoughts at once. I like to see Rabbi Shmuley squeal. But at the same time, I think Sneeko's a jackass because when he tells him that MAGA doesn't support Zionism and he is categorically incorrect. He is wrong when he says that. But Derrick, any last thoughts before I move on for this video?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of things there. Like you said, you can hold two thoughts at once. It can be like, okay, cool, that guy called him out. Good to see. And I saw in the comments somebody said, well, a lot of the MAGA people are anti-Zionist. That is true. I have met some people who I think they're a little delusional because they're not acknowledging the reality in front of them, but they still have this sort of rose-colored glasses on where they're looking at like Trump is all about America first, and they refuse to look at the things that we're talking about here and how Trump is he's given so much money to Israel and he will continue to do so. He's got JD Vance who's already talking about we need to hit Iran hard. Trump was running campaign ads saying that they're going to spill the blood of Iranians to defend Israel. So, I mean, I think that anybody who is MAGA needs to open their eyes if they really believe in this America first idea and like, let's take care of people here and the working class, which I know there are some people who still believe that that's what it actually means. They just need to open up their eyes and face reality that you've been fooled. You've been fooled again, and that's not what this represents in any way. And I'll just throw in one other point. I'm not sure it's something that you guys would normally get into here, but I do think it's an important component of this. One of the ways that they've been able to fool so many of these MAGA people And I try to not paint with a broad brush, because I have friends, like I said, who are just, in their mind, they're like, Derrick, my gas was cheaper during Trump, or I'm a small business owner and I feel like the economy was better under Trump. Like, whether or not those things you can actually equate with Trump's actions, that's how some people are viewing it. But then you also have people, the QAnon type people, who literally have fallen for just what I consider a giant psychological operation, where everything that we could point to, they're going to say, no, Trump's doing that because actually he's trying to expose the bad guys. So he has to put them in positions of power and then let them run the course. And then later he's going to call them out. And then, for anybody who ever did go down that QAnon rabbit hole just to kind of study it, one of the things that Q, which I think is actually likely an Israeli military operation, specifically said, save Israel for last. So a lot of those people are like, no, he's putting the Zionists in power, because later at some point they're going to go after them. And it allows them to keep making excuses and keep, just justifying this stuff. It's really, it's a brilliant psychological operation, but it's sad as fuck to see.
It is. I'm glad you're here to explain it, man. That's actually pathetic to me, because, and rightfully so, people like Cenk Uygur get shitted on Twitter and X, rightfully so, because you guys understand the position that these MAGA people who are like coping Zionists, it's the exact same as Cenk Uygur, and I cannot wait to tell them this to their face, because you guys realize Cenk Uygur said the same thing. Cenk Uygur said, "Oh yeah, come on, I know the Democratic Party is the best stuff." But don't you know there are people within the Democratic Party that actually secretly working on our behalf, and all we gotta do is support that. The ideology of the MAGA person who hates Zionism, who supports Trump, is no different. And I'm looking directly at Tucker Carlson, directly at Russell Brand. There is a direct parallel between Cenk Uygur and Tucker Carlson, whether people believe it or not. They say good things and then they support trash. That's my opinion. And Sneeko, who has a much larger audience than I do, he will convince people who otherwise agree with his anti-Zionist takes to support a Zionist. Do you guys see the damage that is actually done by being like, oh man, don't they have good intentions though? Fuck their intentions. What they're doing is they're sheep herding workers to their enemy. Anything else you want to add, Derrick, before I move on?
Yeah, again, we could just look at the couple of appointments that have already been announced. One that is officially confirmed, and that's Trump's new chief of staff, Susie Wiles. Yeah, she's got a background in big pharma. I think you pulled that up a moment ago. Yeah. There's some good articles out there drawing connections to her history and her career right away. For anybody who's like, oh no, Trump's not going to make America healthy again, all this kind of stuff. Which, look, if something good happens, like I said, thumbs up, but that doesn't mean I'm going to excuse all the other bad things that are going to come along with it. And, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because anybody who paid attention during Trump's first term, Operation Warp Speed, Trump appointed big pharma execs from GlaxoSmithKline. He appointed big pharma execs to, hit the head of HHS. So that if you paid attention to what was going on the first time, then none of this should be any surprise. But again, a lot of the Trump people were like, but that was his first term. He didn't know what he was doing. He got fooled. The deep state actors were around him. Now he understands. He's better prepared. And we're, it's been 3 days since the election, and we're already seeing big pharma execs being chosen. The other guy that they're talking about, Brian Hook, he is I don't know if he's been officially appointed, but they're talking about him being in a position, and he has relations to Pompeo. Of course, we all know Pompeo tried to kill Julian Assange, and of course is famous for saying he's going to, that at the CIA they were taught to lie, cheat, and steal. Well, Brian Hook, they're saying that he is being considered for a potential Department of State position. And, he's also a war hawk. Literally a month ago, he was on Fox News saying that we should be bombing Iran right now. So this is the kind of people that they're bringing to the table. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who had their eyes open. And I do want to mention, I saw one of the comments say something about Last American Vagabond. I do want to shout out T-Lab. That's where I write articles for. I have my own website, but if anybody isn't familiar with The Last American Vagabond, Ryan Christian is another great independent journalist, and him, myself, and Whitney Webb and some other people, we all collaborate. So I just want to shout them out.
Yeah, I've been wanting to have Whitney Webb on the show for a while. I love the work that she does. And I love how you guys consistently call out the power on both sides. And hopefully you can tell by now we're post-duopoly, and there's nothing I can't stand more than partisan hackery. And I'm sure that we have ideological disagreements on some things, but if you're not a partisan hack, we can start somewhere. If you're going to blindly defend the tribe, we have nowhere to even start. Because the second I start criticizing your daddy Trump, you're going to get in your feelings. The same way the second I started criticizing Bernie Sanders, all the Bernie people used to follow me, they started unfollowing me. They're like, man, Nick, you used to be good when you worked on the campaign. Then the second I started criticizing them, they started melting down. That's why I don't fuck with duopolies no more. I want to talk to libertarians and people I disagree with if they're post-duopoly. Before I talk to a liberal or Marxist, I'll talk to a post-duopoly libertarian before I talk to a Marxist who vote Democrat any day of the week. And that's what the level where I'm at.
Hey, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. I mean, I think that those of us who can still see and still have our brains intact should be coming together where we can, because there's too many people who have lost their minds and are willing to sell out for one reason or another.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I haven't actually seen this video. I was just having it play in the background, but I'm actually gonna watch it because there's the MAGA cope, and I can show you guys all these tweets if I don't feel like going through a lot of tweets, but if I'm gonna just search Mike Pompeo and the MAGA people that we are talking about, the people who gotta keep up this grift of being anti-establishment, they are freaking the fuck out because they're starting to realize that I'm about to do another victory dance, another victory lap. Because what did I tell you guys? I had a lot of skepticism. I told you guys over a year ago that once Trump wins, he's gonna invite the swamp right back in, and people are like, "Oh, Nick, Nick, you just you love to talk shit, don't you?" Yeah, true. But there's gonna be another "I told you so" moment. So let me play this clip because I actually haven't seen it. I'm interested in seeing what he says. To be honest, let me unmute it here.
Right, the Washington Post, and I often get asked, Mike, what was it like? Right, the Washington Post described me as the most loyal cabinet member to Donald J. Trump. I had to remind the president that they did not mean that as a compliment. They asked me, what was it like to serve for President Trump? And I told them, and I've told everyone hundreds of times in these 3.5 years, it was the greatest privilege that Mike Pompeo could ever have.
So I think this, actually, let's see what he said here.
I was proud to be a part of President Trump's team. I talked to him every day for 4 years, first as CIA director and then as Secretary of State. And what I was so proud of is that we understood the greatness of this nation, and we never once apologized for the United States of America.
Right, sorry, guys, I apologize. He said, honestly, this is a waste of time, bullshit. Anyway, I just want to hear what he said. But even if it's not Mike Pompeo, who's the guy who tried to get Julian Assange killed, and you mentioned a lot of all his other horrible traits, he's a big supporter of the Ukraine proxy war. Who also, I told you guys, I think Trump is going to continue the NATO expansion. He already saying he want to continue funding Ukraine. It's going to be so satisfying when I tell these MAGA people, I told you so. It's going to be so satisfying. Here's some more receipts on the Pfizer lobbyists. I think this is funny. Here's another receipt I got. Here, Tulsi Gabbard, who's now a Republican, one of the biggest grifters we ever seen in politics. Tulsi Gabbard. Choosing neocon warhawk Mike Pompeo to serve as Secretary of State, our nation's top diplomat, does not bode well for peace. She says that in 2018, and something tells me she changed her mind. Last thing I'm sharing, I'll give you in here, Derrick. Even if it's not Mike Pompeo, every single name that has been floated thus far is a deep state swamp monster. So if it's not Mike Pompeo, it might be Marco Rubio, who's a diehard Cold Warrior, someone who viciously won to go to war with Ukraine, diehard Israel supporter. So if I am wrong and it's not Mike Pompeo, it's going to be another neocon on the list. So all right, let's wrap up this segment, and then we begin to wrap up soon. Derrick, any last thoughts on Trump, the MAGA grift, and the best way that we can resist these people as Trump comes in, if you're there? I don't know if you're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think the screen is frozen.
Here, let me turn off my camera.
Yeah.
You've got it. Pompeo or somebody else, they're putting neocons. I mean, I just, as you were talking, I was started searching who are the top names being floated. Every outlet that is out there, and I don't mean just, anti-Trump outlets, are saying that Pompeo is top of the list. You also got Richard Grenell, all these neocons. Like the Bush era is coming back. Jeb Bush is celebrating the big pharma pick this morning, saying, "Oh, Susie Wiles is a great person." So anybody who something different. is going to be disappointed. And I also share your feeling about, like, on one hand, it's kind of funny to sort of laugh at the people who fell for this shit again. I also, of course, just hope that the people who did fall for it, as soon as they recognize, I hope they don't pull the same thing that we saw during Trump's first term, which is deny all the way to the end. No, Trump's doing this for different reasons. Or like we saw during the Obama years, a lot of people said, Obama promised he was going to come in and prosecute the Bush people for war crimes, for torture. Then he comes in and says, we need to look forward, not look back. And so people gave him 4 years, and it was clear he wasn't what he was promising to be. And some people woke up and were like, all right, never mind, I can't support this guy. But then some people held on all the way to the end, all the way till freaking 2016, just like dragging it out. Like, no, Obama's still our guy, and refused to admit the truth. And I'm, I guess, worried that there will be some people who won't be willing, whether it's because of their ego or because of the false hopium that they buy into, to admit I was fooled once more. And I think that anybody who, for example, this morning, as far as solutions you asked about, this morning somebody commented to me on Twitter and said, I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to feel black-pilled. And I just want to encourage anybody who is feeling black-pilled or apathetic, or, feels like, oh no, if Trump's selling out, then all hope is lost. First of all, just recognize that the politicians are never going to save you. That's not, in my view, that's not where real change is going to come from. Real change is going to come, as you guys here know, from the bottom up, by us organizing in our communities, in our neighborhoods. And really, for me, I focus on trying to build parallel systems, parallel structures, economic systems, healthcare systems, what have you, outside of the state and outside of this whole political apparatus. So if anybody's interested in my ideas on that, I encourage you guys, you can download my book for free. It's called How to Opt Out of the Technocratic State. I released this in 2020 and updated it in 2022. You can download it at theconsciousresistance.com/how-to. theconsciousresistance.com/how-to, the free PDF. There's a free audiobook, and it basically outlines the agorist counter-economic strategy, or what I call exit and build, exiting from unsustainable, wasteful slavery systems and building new alternative parallel systems. So that's really what I try to focus my energy on outside of journalism, building on the ground level and organizing. So I just want to encourage people who do feel a little disheartened and feel like, whether you knew Trump was going to sell out or not, or you're still holding on to some hope, when you inevitably are disappointed, I want to encourage you not to become black-pilled, but instead to step into a place of empowerment and see that we still have the power to decide where things go.
Absolutely well said. I'm glad it said in the stream, because we always try to instill that revolutionary optimism. We laugh, and there was a lot of laughs, especially in the beginning. We cry, but at the end of the day, we do this because we want to get people motivated. And one day we gotta have you back home when we have more time. I would love to pick your brain about your theory of change, because that's something that we talk about on our channel all the time. I think solutions is more. You can't just put up clickbait, share tweets and posts and get likes and go home and quit like Olayemi, like the leftist mafia. They quit now. They done. You're on your own, workers. That's the political nihilism that I'm glad, because this is the first time we met. I'm glad that you reject that as well. And I'm willing to work with people who may not share my exact ideology if they had that same revolutionary optimism, if they're not succumbing to the nihilism of the duopoly, which is ingrained into people. I'm gonna share this receipt just because I saw it, and we wrap up soon. But I just saw this, I thought it was funny. Ron Paul is sounding the alarm, warning President-elect Donald Trump not to choose a neocon for Secretary of Defense. Hey, sorry, dipshit. Sorry, dipshit. You already threw all your credibility away when you endorsed Donald Trump. Anyway, I didn't see this video. Let's watch this video and then we wrap up. I'm just kind of going through the timeline, to be honest. Okay, that's the video in a nutshell. But sorry, dude, you already gave up your endorsement. Sorry, dipshit. He knows he got you, so you're gonna fill the swamp. You already endorsed him, bro. I don't know. I think someone said no sound. Sorry,
I couldn't hear it either. But he threw a bone out to everybody he could. That's the thing. That's why, to me, people are. I mean, I try to have faith in humanity, but some people are dumb as fuck when it comes to like a politician making a promise the week before the election and you trust it. You know what I mean? Like he's like, we're gonna get this thing out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna like. All over the place, and people are taking those words as gospel. So, I mean, I think we need to be a little bit more smart on this whole thing and not fall for these people.
Yeah, well said. You guys can see the subtitles. It wasn't a big deal. He just said, I don't think he should point neocon, even though everyone knows he's going to. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say this other segment for next week. You guys don't have a long ass week, so we're gonna keep this show to an hour today. And there, we definitely gotta have you back on, pick your brain, and discuss theory of changes and
I'd love
that kind
to.
of stuff more in the future. Any last thoughts you have on anything we discussed, or anything you want to plug? Any last words, Derrick? It was great having you on. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, it's great to meet you as well, brother, and I appreciate the work you guys do. I've been, checking it out from a distance, so it's cool to get a little more connected, and I'd love to come back at some point. As I mentioned, my main website's theconsciousresistance.com. That's where my documentaries, my books, my articles, video reports are all there. I mentioned the How to Opt Out of the Technocratic State. People can download that for free. I do write weekly articles at thelastamericanvagabond.com. And if anybody's also looking to go a little deeper down the rabbit hole, you can check out my 17-part documentary series called thepyramidofpower.net. And then the last thing I'll plug is the shirt I'm wearing here, the Freedom Cell Network. If you are a person who is paying attention and you feel a little lost, you're looking for other people, I invite you to go to freedomcells.org. That's CELLS.org. It's basically set up like a social network, but it's not a social network. It's not a place to post memes or debate politics. It's a specific place where people can create a free profile and say, here's my interests, here's my goals, here's my skills. You add yourself to the map, and then you can search and find people and groups near you who are trying to get organized in the real world. So I just want to invite people to check that out, because we need to get more organized than ever. We're going to see a lot of people make excuses over the coming years, and I don't think we're going to see things go in a better direction that most of us would hope. And again, for any good that might come, great. Let's take a moment, celebrate it if you will, but let's continue to hold these people's feet to the fire and to not fall trapped to that duopoly that you're rightfully calling out.
Very well said. And I have a question for my producer, Zoe. I want to quickly ask you this. You want to ask you about your work in Mexico. The work you're doing in Mexico, anything else you want to add and share about that before we wrap?
Yeah, sure. So I do, like I said, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I live in Morelia, Mexico, which is central Mexico. I actually just got back last night, just got the studio set up right before we did this. And I live out here. I've got some land that myself, and about 8 other people, we're basically forming a intentional community, an eco village of people who are on this same tip. And we're trying to be an example for other people. We're trying to basically prepare for the potential that we can't stop the march of the state towards complete and total tyranny, which I think is definitely in the cards if things don't change. And even more specifically, what we're doing out here in Mexico is working with the local community. I'm not Mexican. My family is from Mexico a few generations back, but I was born in the States. My partner, though, Miriam, her family is from Mexico. So we've been out here for 4 years now. We left right at the beginning of COVID, 1984 in March 2020. And we've just been out here organizing, connecting with the locals, really trying to build that counter economy. Thankfully, there were a lot of people. One of the benefits of Mexico is a lot of people already use cash. They're already sort of outside of the system in a lot of ways. And we're trying to help people see that there's actually strength in that, being outside of the system, instead of this idea that a lot of Mexicans, and especially immigrants in the U.S., have been sold that we need to become part of the system to be considered a real person or to be recognized. And we also host an event every January here in Mexico that is basically about what we're talking about here. It's a 5-day event where people come to just discuss solutions from across the board about mental, spiritual, physical health, growing your own food, becoming independent in that way, using technology in a way that's private, respects liberty and privacy, decentralized technology, alternative education systems, things like that. That event is called the People's Reset. People can find it at thepeoplesreset.org. And yeah, so I've got land out here. I'm building out here. We're networking with others and trying to build that awareness. And then obviously my family and folks are still back in Texas. So I come back often and I continue to report about the empire in the U.S.
Yeah, that's great work, man. That's absolutely great work. So make sure you guys support Derrick. I'm gonna just do a few acknowledges. I almost forgot. I was do a few acknowledges as we wrap up. Thank you, author Nick. What do you think of? I covered that. That was before I laid into Olayemi. So yeah, make sure you finish the video. I did discuss that. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for the $2. I'm so poor right now, but it's so good. I tell you, dude, that first segment was fun, man. It's a fun week. This has been a fun week indeed. Thank you for $5, George. And I'll tell you, I'm probably gonna do another week of this kind of stuff. Laugh at the liberals, because right now I told you guys I'm gonna take a little break, laugh at the liberals, and then we're gonna get back at holding the power accountable, because we deserve this moment. We really do. Anyway, let's continue. Thanks for keeping me laughing, smiling these last few days. Absolutely. There's no a revolution without joy, not a revolution worth anything. Thank you for $5, Lynn. Love RBN is massively insane or dumb not to notice that Trump was going to win this. Dude, they was posting, I don't know if you saw this there. These people was posting electoral maps showing Kamala landslides, and they were wondering why they were losing thousands of subscribers.
Oh my God.
That's what I was covering a little bit earlier. Last two suggestions, but thank you for the 499 Janice. Pac-Man and his ilk pulled the same grip 2016 after Trump win, proved their dishonesty in 2016 and 2024. Hope their audience doesn't give them a third chance. I didn't play the whole video for the sake of time, but if you watch the whole video, David Pac-Man is like begging his audience, please forgive me. I'm sorry I misled you. Last super chat. TLAV meets RBN keeps being true. Absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed this week. I think it was a great week. Any last words, Derrick, before we wrap up? Thank you for coming on, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'll see you out there. Keep fighting.
All right, absolutely. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll be back next week. You guys have a lot of content to catch up on. If you guys missed the roundtable we did yesterday, I was joined my sister Sabby, my brother JB. We had Shama Sawan, Jill Stein, Mark Kimberly on. Make sure you guys check that out. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to our Patreon if you want to support this work. Have a good one. Peace out.